America?
No, not in America at the moment. I've been a bit like
Where
all
though?
over the place at the moment. So, yeah. So I'm in the UK in Taunton at the moment. It's my sister's graduation today, so in the afternoon I'm going to be going off down to Plymouth and see her graduate from her master's. So that'll be nice. But
Oh, how exciting. When are you coming to Australia? What dates are you coming?
I am coming. I think it will be kind of like just after Christmas, January time. So
January. Oh, it would be so nice and warm.
yeah, I'm just kind of chasing the sun basically. It's like summer's just about coming to an end here and it's getting a bit like rainy and miserable. It's like been really odd weather. Like in the same day you'll have like blasting sunshine and then it'll be like pouring down with rain in the next minute and then like blasting sunshine. I'm like, oh, England's doing its thing. But yeah, no,
Yeah,
it'll be nice to be there in the sunshine. And
excellent. And so you're traveling on your own?
yeah, yeah, so that's the idea. I want to kind of like go to Bali and do the yoga teacher training, and then after that,
Yes.
kind of come around to Australia and do some work and travel. And I don't really want to kind of like go all over the place. I kind of want to just maybe visit a few places and
Yeah.
yeah, just kind of more experience the lifestyle and be a bit more settled in one or two places. But yeah, no,
You'll
I'm
love it. You'll
excited.
love it. You'll never want to leave.
Yeah, I'm a bit
That's the
worried
problem.
about that. How's your day been? How have you been?
Good, yeah. I've had a couple of client sessions and I played netball this morning, which is
Oh,
really fun. So I haven't played that since like high school, and I just put my name up for there's this like ladies morning midweek netball group that
yeah.
started. Obviously they're all mums, and I rocked up today and I'm like, I don't have kids, I just work from home and need to get out of the house, and it was really fun. It was actually really good. So yeah, I feel good
Are you
after
going to
having
do it
a run
regularly?
around. Yeah, once a week on a Wednesday morning, so it'll be nice.
That'll be
And
good.
then just went for a really nice walk. The sun's just about to set here, and then I've got a client tonight. So busy day of clients, but it's all good. I've got tomorrow off because it's my mum's birthday. So yeah,
Oh, nice.
yeah, it's
Beautiful.
good. So tell
Um,
me about this. Like, what's your intention for this?
so basically, I've been interviewing a few people that have already kind of setting up their own business, or they have the intention of setting up their own business, or kind of like already set up their own business and kind of like making money. But yeah, so the idea is just to kind of like interview a lot of different people at different stages and see or talk about their experience of like how it was setting up your own business and being self-employed and how you can sustainably do that and kind of still keep your still have your life balanced. um, yeah, so I've just been kind of doing like a set of YouTube videos like that. So I'm going to kind of join them all together. Like maybe we'll make one master video with kind of like a mixture of everyone's videos. But I also want
Cool.
to kind of like keep them individually if anyone wants to kind of like check out people's individual interviews. But like they've been kind of like half an hour long or so. So it's quite a lot to ask for everyone to kind of watch in each of them individually, the whole thing. So I wanted to make like
Yeah.
one kind of bigger video of people, like different people answering the same kind of questions. Yeah, I don't know. I just kind of felt like it would be useful for me and also a lot of other people I know as well. But yeah, I was like, I can't not interview Juliet and let this one go.
Cool. Yeah.
No, thank you so
It's
much for
fun.
doing this. Yeah,
Of course.
I'm not.
Yeah.
I
I
won't take
always
up
say
too much of
yes
your
to
time.
speaking at all, so it's always good.
Cool. So Juliet, can you just tell me a little bit about your business and what it is about and what it means to you?
Perfect. Yeah. Hi. I started Relaunch My Life nearly 4 years ago now. And the reason I started it is because literally I was at the point where I needed to do that. I needed to relaunch my life. I was sort of stuck in a corporate job, feeling really anxious, suffering with anxiety, and just knew that my life wasn't sort of going the way it was meant to be going. I was in a pretty unhappy marriage as well. And so within the space of 12 months, I left my husband, I started my business, and I quit my job, and I worked through and healed all of these elements within myself. And my business that stands today is all about helping people live their most fulfilling lives. So I love, love, love working with people and helping them get that like sparkle in their eye, of a life
Yeah.
that they feel amazing living. And so many people are just kind of existing and working to pay bills, and you can just tell like they're not enjoying their existence. And I really believe, we're all born for a reason, and it's about finding that reason, and when you find it, you thrive. So I do coaching, I run retreats in Australia and in Bali, and really also teach some spiritual work to help people connect to their soul and their soul's purpose. So lots of things, but all with the intention of helping people connect to why they're actually here and what they're born to do.
Yeah. Yeah, and by the sounds of it, I know that you're so busy, all these different things. How do you, where did it all start from? Which one did you start with? So I'm guessing, you built up on the skills that you learned and all the different courses you learned to instruct, but what point did you start at?
Yeah, it was definitely the first start of my journey was healing myself and kind of figuring out how to fix my own life. And then as a result of that, I started coaching on Saturdays. I hired a space and just worked with people and did some hypnotherapy and coaching sessions one-on-one, face-to-face. And I think I charged $50 per session for the first few sessions that I ran. I didn't care. I wanted to get experience. And then I was still working my sort of corporate job, and I eventually got to the point where demand, and I got so booked out that I had to ask the people that I worked with if I could drop back to 4 days a week so that I could increase the amount of clients I had. And then it was from that traction and building that it gave me the confidence to, 4 months after I'd started, just quit and go straight for what I was doing. I think I felt so alive working with people and helping them connect to what actually was true for them. Yeah. And then I got so busy that all of the signs just said jump, and I've been really well supported ever since, and that's been 3.5 years now. So
yeah, and just to talk about that transition zone a bit, because you were working a full-time job with doing the the coaching on the side, and then kind of like dropping down your hours at work. How did that work out for you? Because you're shifting between two mindsets all the time. Like, how did you know that it was time to switch from one to another? Because I guess my point is that some people just say, I don't want to do this job, and they know that they don't want to do it, so they quit it and have all this spare time on their hands. And sometimes that can kind of work against you, because all the spare time on your hands, you feel like you have to kind of spend all your time doing this new thing, and it can sometimes happen a bit too fast, don't you think?
Totally. It's a lot of pressure, and I think when you're trying to do something new and you are building something that you feel this is what I'm actually meant to be doing, the last thing you want to do is have pressure sort of around it from the get-go. And so I wrote about this a bit in my book, because I get asked this quite a bit, and it's really perfect because I kind of manifested a situation where my job that I had been working in for 6.5 years was really stressful, managing a big sales team, lots of experience and responsibility. And then as I was kind of seeking out how to heal myself and change my life, I had a big job restructure, and I went into more of a one-to-one projects role. Yeah. And so I think my mind's capacity was still used to working with lots of people, but I was sitting at a computer all day, still getting paid the same. And so with that extra headspace, that sort of birthed having more time and energy after work and on weekends to start creating my vision and my business. And so that's what I could put that extra headspace into. So I was still at work doing the 9 to 5, but had all this extra capacity. And I like how you say shifting gears. Like, I was so conditioned to working in gear 5 that I felt like my job got changed to gear 1 or 2. And so I was like, okay, what do I do with all this extra energy? And that's where Relaunch My Life kind of was born from. So I was quite fortunate.
Yeah, and you talk about like the first stages of starting your business up and your inspiration stuff in your book as well. So if any of you want to kind of look more into it, Juliet has just kind of recently finished writing her book, which is, you finally made it.
I know. It was a long process, but I got there.
No, it's an amazing book. I have it on my Kindle and I read it every now and then. So how did you find people, like the support you found at the first stages? Because did you get any resistance from like family or friends, or were they just always really supportive? So how were the other people's roles on starting your own business initially?
I left home when I was 16, so my parents have had really quite little influence on me from a young age, and I had left my husband, and he was probably the person who was my my rational, concerned, he would be the one looking out for all the red flags for things for me. And so I wasn't with him. And so I'd kind of created this space of just, I can do whatever I want at the first time really in my life. And I'm quite headstrong. So, I think people will only doubt you if you're doubting yourself. Like, we will only externally create someone to raise red flags of doubt to us if we've got a little part of us that's also doubting us. So I think I had worked so much on clearing all the doubt within myself that everyone just kind of saw it in my eyes that it was going to be successful, and it was what I was meant to be doing. So I think if people are doubting you, check within yourself what part of you is doubting yourself.
Yeah, I think it's such an important part of the journey. You said like healing yourself first, and becoming so strong and believing that it's going to work, that external factors aren't really an influence on you. Is if they're supportive, great, but I feel like...
Well, and sometimes if there's still things holding you back, it's because what you're going to do or some part of your process isn't ready yet. I've really become more attuned to and aware of like that everything is really unfolding at the right time, at the right place, with the right people. And I think if we try and force things, and I think sometimes if we're listening to our head more than our heart, we'll be thinking, no, it has to go like this and we have to do this. But sometimes, the universe has other plans, and you've got to, you don't know yet. Maybe there's a conversation with someone that you need to have that isn't going to eventuate for another 2 weeks, and until that conversation you won't realise the light bulb that's going to help you with your next step on your path. So that's why a lot of what I do is about learning how to trust and slow down and receive and look out for signs and clues, because collecting all of that on your journey will really help you in business and in life.
Yeah, because you touched on a really good point there. I think it's thought as a very kind of mental thing and thinky kind of thing, having your own business, but it's not always kind of appreciated as much, that there's such a big role where you're just trusting your intuition, lots of stuff that isn't controlled by your mind, that plays a massive role in your business becoming successful. So I kind of want to talk about the more not seen and touched things of having your own business, but I also want to talk about the practical aspects as well. So we'll go with the not seen and touched things first.
Cool.
So you talked about kind of trusting your intuition and just picking up signs. What other skills and skill sets or kind of things about yourself, your personality, do you think helps you become, relaunch my life, become successful? Or not even, it doesn't have to necessarily be skills, but values that you hold true to yourself. So values, skills, and specific actions that you've taken because of those. What do you think the pattern was that led to your success? I don't know if I made that clear enough.
Yeah, I think what you're asking is like, so how did I create all of this, and what is it like? What are the sort of special attributes that helped me get to where I am? Yeah. Well, I'm really curious, just like you, and I think that's a really important quality for anyone to have. And these days, there's so much information, right? There's so much, I know that already, but I'm constantly curious. Like I'm even curious right now about the fact that we're having this conversation right now.
Yeah.
And I just find it so fascinating to, really be present and think about, well, why out of all of the things that you and I could be doing right now are we having this interaction? But also for the observer or the listener of this interview, why out of all of the millions and billions of bits of information available on the internet these days, why is this conversation the one that you're listening to? And how present can you be to its message? Because sometimes we're looking for like the big answer to things, but actually sometimes it's the simplest things and actually applying them. So I think, action is one thing. Like I definitely get into action and I just get things done. I avoid sitting in resistance and procrastination as much as possible. I see a lot of people procrastinating. So the one thing that I did at the very start of my journey is I realized all I need to do is take one step per day. And so all anyone needs to do is like, okay, what's your big dream? What's your big vision? Maybe you want to start the next Microsoft or something, right? A massive vision, something crazy like that. Well, if you just took one step per day towards that, what would it be? What would it look like? And just literally commit to action. So doing one step each day. And so, as I started my business, I didn't know what I was doing. For a lot of people, when you start your business, it's the first time you've ever done it. So you're figuring things out along the way. But there's always a solution. There's always someone you can ask. Usually it's Google, but if not Google, you can ask people just like what you're doing that have walked the path before that you're wanting to walk, and collect that information and get into action. The other thing is, aside from being curious and getting into action, is really trying to learn as much as I can from any situation. If there's like a sponge of learning, I like to squeeze all of the learnings out of any situation because I think everything that's happening is always preparing you for the next step on your journey. And what happens is so many of us are kind of half asleep at the wheel in life, and we miss a lot of the clues and the learnings of what's happening.
Yeah.
And then we have to bring ourselves repeat situations to get the same learnings that we could have got if we were just a little more awake and a little bit more curious and a little more, then what's the action? So a lot of self-reflection. And so I'm always kind of looking at things and analysing, well, what did I learn from my life today? What did I learn from this conversation with Alara today? And using sort of, using your beautiful head. Your head's designed to ask questions, and then you can kind of use your heart to answer those questions, and your guidance or your intuition to not be too fluffy. But yeah, there are literally always solutions. And I think the last thing, what did I say? Curiosity, action, learnings, being present. And I think the last one is just to keep going with like a positive mindset. Like I literally do look at things glass half full, and I have this saying, like, what's perfect about this that I haven't even figured out yet? Like I always that there's always some good reason, and so it's cool. It's fun. But yeah, I don't know if I answered that clearly.
Yeah, no, definitely. No, I like the 5 things you condensed it into. Yeah, and it's interesting thinking of it in that way, kind of learning from every situation, even if you feel like it's a bad situation, kind of like not letting yourself get into the, letting yourself get into the negative mindset, because then when you think of it from a negative point of view, everything flips side, and anything that you could have got out of that situation just goes. Any steps that you could have taken forward that day, you lose motivation. So yeah, I think it's really important having a positive attitude as well. Talking about more the practical side of, so still talking about the start of your business, what did you actually find? Did you have any kind of difficulties that were maybe finances or finding clients, or did it kind of just roll for you? And how did you get over them if you did find difficulties like that?
I didn't have any difficulty finding clients. I've always been really fortunate to rely on my service and then word of mouth, and always saying yes to opportunities like this. Just always saying yes. Anytime I get asked to do something, no matter what it seems like the perceived benefit or outcome, I always say yes.
Yeah.
I find that interesting because there have been some people, because I've started a podcast now, and there have been some people that I've asked, and they say, only if you have a list size of over 20,000 or 50,000. And I think that's interesting because obviously they're busy, and so you're at a point. But I always just say yes and fit it in, because you never know. And I think it's always nice to stay open to that. And financially, no, I mean, the only thing that kind of worked well for me was some people get, I don't know if you have them in the UK, but like a redundancy or a package or something.
Right, okay.
And then they look, do you know what that is?
No.
Is that the right word? Sort of like if your job gets absorbed, or if your job gets terminated.
Right.
By the business, but you get paid out for it because the job no longer exists. What do you call that in the UK?
I think it is called redundancy.
Oh, redundancy.
Yeah.
Sorry, you just didn't hear me.
Yeah.
So some people might get a redundancy and then be thinking about what they want to do, but the problem is they've got this big sort of nest egg of money sitting there, and that can be a comfort zone for a lot of people, and then you're not likely to kind of look at at more challenging things. I think
Yeah.
sometimes if people have got lots of money, they're like, oh, well, I don't need to do much in a way. Whereas I was really fortunate that when I did quit my job, I had, yes, a steady stream of clients, but I still needed to earn money to pay for the rent for the room that I was hiring, and to justify my wage, and, you know, all of that in myself. So I think financially it was really scary leaving a steady six-figure salary. You know, I got paid the same amount every fortnight, and that was a really nice it was really nice, you know. It's kind of tempting to just stay on that, and I think a lot of people do stay for the security of a paycheck, but you know, some part of you's just got to leap and trust, and I always, you know, have money come in. You know, I always will have like a process where I review my finances each week, and I set an intention of how much, you know, I want to earn, and it always sort of comes through. And if it doesn't, I look at, well, what can I learn? What didn't I do? And it's usually I wasn't in enough action, and okay. So I think anything in life and in business can be as simple or as complicated as you want it to be. And I think there's so much information out there on the internet. A lot of people are overwhelmed and it's overcomplicated, but it's actually really simple. It's just start and take one step at a time, and always be learning. So.
Yeah, definitely. I think, you know, you wrote a blog about comfort is where dreams go to die, and I think that's really true, because safety is something that we feel so, you know, you think you're really happy being there, but you don't realise, you know, how much is outside of that, and how much potential you actually have outside of that. So, you know, it's good to have people like you to kind of push you to get outside your comfort zone and realise your true potential.
Totally. Not everyone likes that though. So.
Yeah, but how about the marketing side? Because now, you know, a lot it's very different to how it used to be, because before it was kind of, you had your shop window, and it was a product you sell or kind of service you give in the shop, and you know, you're basically advertising to local people. But it's really changed now, isn't it? Like, there's so much influence of social media. There's a whole new world of you know, things you have to kind of attune yourself to. Facebook is a massive one, but it keeps on changing its you know, the way how many people view your thing, like how popular it is, it affects how many people it will show it to next. So how have you dealt with kind of like the marketing side of it?
Yeah, well, I am not a marketing expert. I really do kind of bring it back. I know you want it to be more practical, but I really do think that if you're going to be an entrepreneur, if people are watching this to start their own business, your business is a reflection of you. And so if you're blocking any, you know, clients from seeing you, you know, look at, well, what is, or you're blocking your service or product from getting out there. Look at any ways that you are, you know, maybe not believing in your service, or look at anything that you're holding back in your business, and that then will transpose into your marketing. If you feel like, I have the best product and service in the world, trust me, nothing can stop you from getting people to hear about it. So it will happen. But you know, anywhere there's a problem with marketing, you know, look at, well, how much are you believing in what you're doing, and how much is it getting out there? And I think as well, like, I just try and be on lots of different platforms. I'm not like great on Snapchat. I think I'm a different generation for that. But I'm on Instagram and obviously Facebook, and I have my mailing list. And so just having like lots of different sources, and obviously the podcast as well, lots of different ways that people can hear about you. And I think people learn to trust if they see your brand or your product or service on different platforms, and then eventually people will start talking about it too. I really like social media because, in fact, I feel like it's enhancing word of mouth. Because there's so much online, people are a little more wary. And so now what I see on social media, and I get tagged a lot of the time in, is someone might say, who knows a great life coach? I need some help working through some stuff. And people will comment on that. And it's a really nice thing to know when, you know, you get your name put up on there and you're like, great, the system works, you know? So I think, you know, depending on where people are at with their business in this way, it's just, you know, do what you're doing. Start a blog, start interviews, just start getting out on all the different channels. And you don't know, someone could watch this interview in 6 or 12 months' time because it's still available on the internet, and it might be the thing that gets them to look into what your product or service is. So it's really amazing. Yeah,
exactly. And, you know, even if it helps at least one person, then it's still a win, isn't it?
Yeah, and you know what? I think that's sometimes overlooked, because we have access to the world and 8 billion people, we all
You
feel
want
like we
everyone
have to
to
do
see it.
something that helps 8 billion
Yeah.
people, but that one person, sometimes that's more than enough.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I think that's a really lovely way of looking at it, because otherwise, you know, it's always, you always have an excuse to shoot yourself down because, you know, 8 billion people aren't seeing it. But, you know, the people that do see it, if they make the most out of it, and if they get something out of it, then you know, I think that is still
And I think my partner said something to me the other day that Facebook have admitted that the views that you see on the videos is something like 1,000% inaccurate. So
Really?
you don't even know what's actually happening. You just don't know. It's sort of, I feel like sometimes when you post something on social media, it's like gambling. You just sort of like
just kind of like throw it out there.
And I know that there are experts that look at it, but you know, it's always changing. And I think, you know, a really good key in business is to not take it as so seriously. I think if you're having fun, it's like that old saying, you know, if you're having fun, people will like look and go, oh, what are they all doing having fun? And they want to be a part of it. So I think it's always good to have, you know, good energy around things and be having fun, and then the right people will find you.
Yeah, no, definitely. I love that. So I think though, having your own business and, you know, being able to work from anywhere, it must be quite not a very distinguished line between what is work and what is kind of like just your life. And you know, there's a certain kind of work-life balance that you do kind of have to keep, because you know, like you were explaining to me before, like you have a feminine side and a masculine side, and it's kind of how do you, what kind of daily routine do you have actually to make sure that you do balance that out, or, you know, as much as you can? And well, I'll ask my next question after that.
Yeah,
Too many questions.
Good. You're so curious. Every morning I get up and I do meditation and then go for a walk with my partner and our dog, and we live right near the beach, so that's just beautiful, and that really centers me. Then I journal every morning, and then I'll have breakfast or do yoga depending on what day I've got. And then I don't do work every day. I don't do client sessions every day. So I do 2 to 3 days a week of client sessions, and usually 2 to 3 sessions a day. That's all. And then Mondays I do an art class, and then do planning for the week. And Fridays I always have off now. So I only do clients Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. That is not how I did it in the first year. The first year I literally, any client that said they could do a session, I said yes to. I was booking clients like all sorts of times. I was saying yes to absolutely anything. If someone wanted me to come and talk, even if they would only pay me $50, I was saying yes. I just said yes to everything in the first year because I had so much energy and was just so like enjoying everything. But eventually, you burn out.
You kind of burn out,
I realized I need some structure. And then weekends, I teach yoga online on Facebook Live, so I do that Tuesday nights and Sunday mornings, and a meditation class. And then Saturdays are usually when I teach like my spiritual workshops or different. I've got a 1-day mini Bali retreat this Saturday with about 25 women coming.
Actually,
so
good luck with that.
I'm completely decorating the room like Bali, and it's going to be lots
beautiful.
of fun. So yeah, so I like bringing the world to people because not everyone likes traveling out into the world all the time. So yeah, so that's sort of my structure, and then I just book, time off as I need it. But it's fun being in control of your own like structure, and if I want to increase things, I can open up my diary for more. But if I want to scale back, I can reduce. So it's really good. But I think each person needs to find a balance, and
I think
definitely. Sorry?
I think it's not always as, you have to kind of be quite strict on yourself to make sure that, you got all this work coming in, it's great, and you because it's your business is being successful, but also you're like, but wait a minute, I also need to kind of like recharge myself. And, it's quite a definite decision to make sure, tell yourself, I will take time out for myself. Actually, tomorrow I'm not going to work at all. From now on, I'm not going to work, Tuesdays at all. And, I think burning out is quite a common thing for people that have their own businesses.
Totally.
Especially,
like it's just that old saying as well about having that full cup, and then you've got so much to give to other people. And the times that I have not done that, it's just I learned from that. That's all I can say. I was like, why did I flip out then? Oh, probably because I did way too many client sessions that week. I had 3 events on, and I didn't do yoga. Okay, what's my learnings? Take care of myself. But, you'll be tested, because I still, every now and then, will have people ask for sessions on a Friday, and I'm just really clear, like, no, that's my day off.
Yeah.
And it feels really good, because I think sometimes when you're saying no to someone else, you're actually saying yes to yourself.
Yeah.
And that's really important. And I can only sort of be as influential with my clients, and I can only really lead by example, so if I'm not filling my cup, I can't then expect my clients to be. So
yeah, no, definitely, and good for you.
Yeah, and you?
This question has been something that I've been thinking about quite a lot recently, actually, because I think we're doing a yoga retreat with the same company, aren't we? So you must have read the book as well, The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle.
Yes.
So I'm reading that at the moment, and it's all about now is where change happens. Now is where it's like now is all you have, which is a really good approach, and I can kind of see where he's coming from, but I think with something like having your own business, you always have something you're working towards, like future goals or something you want to work on in the future, and I can see that with your business. You're always moving forward, always getting new stuff in, and be like, I've got this new thing, and it's never staying in the same place, which is which is really great. But how do you find yourself balancing being in the present moment and just enjoying the now, and how do you balance that with kind of shifting your focus a bit to the future and kind of working towards your future goals? And sometimes you have to just sit in front of computers for hours researching or whatever about whatever you want your goals for the future. So how do you balance that?
That is a good question. I think like realizing in the present moment that like everything is perfect and there's actually nothing to do and it's all fine. Sometimes realizing you've got so much to do, and also realizing that it actually doesn't matter if you don't do any of it is really important, but also with your goals and what you've set, to be totally unattached to them. So sometimes things will turn out completely different to what you expect, and just to let it go and to be okay with that. And there's been lots of things that I've cancelled. There's been lots of things that I've changed, and it's been my head trying to sort of push me into it.
Yeah.
And when your heart's not with it, you got to let it go sometimes, and just let go. And I think, I always have things that I'm working towards in the future, but also I trust sometimes that they will unfold in a different way than what I would realise. So sometimes, just letting go a little bit and practicing that non-attachment can help you to actually get what you want. It's really weird. Sometimes when you let go, that's when it all comes to you. So, hard to answer that question, but I would just say, yes, I think goal setting is really important, but also let go.
Yeah, definitely. I think I find myself kind of mostly trying to stay in the present moment, with sometimes putting some time aside, just saying I'm going to think about what I'm going to do next and some future time, but setting some time aside for that, and then kind of planning to do something. Go out and actually do some real life stuff, go out for a walk, see some friends, but I think that is something that I think not even business owners, but as students or anyone who's, got goals for anything, it's quite a hard balance to keep, really.
Yeah, and I think nature is always healing for that, and I know that you know the benefit of that.
Yeah.
It always just brings you back to the present, and it always makes you realise, that saying, nature doesn't hurry, and yet everything gets done. Like a lot of what you want to achieve has already kind of happened in the future. You just got to let it flow to you.
Yeah.
And if you're so busy doing, you're not going to have that space to receive the clues and the opportunities and the little gifts on the way.
Yeah.
So I think letting go and knowing that you don't have to do everything yourself, and you can always ask for help. And there's a lot of people who do want to help. So yeah, I think sometimes you want to do things on your own, or you think you have to, but like people will help more than you realise. So
yeah, definitely. And also, finally, has there been any kind of, people that have inspired you? So books that you've read, people that you've followed. Who has been like your people that you've looked up to, and I don't really want to use the word role model, but been kind of people that have inspired you to kind of get to where you are?
Yeah, that is a really good question. There's two people that come to mind, actually. There's my partner, first of all. I've learned a lot about business from him. He's had his own business for over a decade, starting off as a personal trainer, and then now he teaches a lot of mind-body courses, neuro-linguistic programming and hypnotherapy and that sort of thing. And just the way that he just head down, bum up, just gets things done. And he's really like simple, like keeps things really simple, but also is really hardworking. So I love that about him. And then the other person would be a lady who owns a business in Adelaide called the SAS Community. And so she's created this women's co-working hub. And I just love the kind of the network, the community that she has built, and also how honest and raw she is with the community about, business challenges she's facing and different things. And she's really gutsy, like she takes on big leases without knowing if anyone's going to hire space from her, and just, makes these big, bold financial, but also, business decisions. And I really admire her. And it's nice for you to ask me that, because I think I'll have to just send her a little message or give her a call and let her know that I gave her that feedback. And obviously I'll let Paul know that I told you that it's him. But yeah, good question. It was nice for me to think about. It's not, the big people, like I think Marie Forleo and all of that is great, but
some people that are closer to you
really doing it.
Yeah. Oh wow, I love that. And I think it's sometimes nice to kind of, you don't always kind of remember them, but it's nice to kind of appreciate them and think about them. Yeah, actually, like when I think about it, like my mum has had such a big influence on a lot of my success as well. And I don't always kind of tell her that, but when I think about it, it's nice to just thank them, and they really appreciate it too. Cool. So if anyone wants to find out more about you, about Relaunch My Life, they want to go to your retreats, I don't know if you just wanted to kind of pop how they can contact you, find out more about you. So I'll put it at the bottom of the video as well. But for vocal,
we'll go to Relaunch My Life. relaunchmylife.com.au is probably the easiest, and you can add me on Instagram. It's just under my name, Juliet Lever, and email me or reach out on either of those. I'd love to hear from you. And definitely Bali is an amazing place. I was saying to someone the other day, it's parts of it are sort of like being in Mother Earth's womb. It's so healing, and I'm so excited that you're going to go there and experience it. It's
I'm really
beautiful
excited.
Place, so.
Oh, cool. Well, great. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for doing this and taking time out your day. I know it's valuable time for you.
Yeah, it's nice. It's a pleasure, and I love that you're doing this. It's really cool, and I can't wait to actually meet you in person in the new year.
Yeah, I know. It'll be great. So, but have a great evening, and I will get on with going to graduations and celebrating my sister's masters.
Excellent.
But thank you so much. It's so lovely to see you again, and I will see you in a few months' time.
Hey, what dates are you doing your yoga teacher training?
It's the November one, so it starts at the end of November and finishes just a few days before Christmas.
Do you want to know something creepy?
What, did you do that one as well?
I have been working with another client from Adelaide, Ashley, and she's doing that one.
Really? So I'm going to meet her.
That's so cool. That's really cool. So you know someone else there then, technically. You can go, hi, you know Juliet too. So
make friends. Yeah, because it finishes on the 22nd or 23rd of December or so. And I was like, wow, I'm gonna a few days before Christmas, I'm just gonna kind of finish this training and have no idea what I'm gonna do. But I'm kind of looking forward to that, not making a big deal out of Christmas just because it's Christmas, just kind of seeing where I am, who I'm with, and just enjoying it for the moment. I think it'll be a really kind of in the moment Christmas celebration, rather than kind of a massive build up to this one day and kind of
the other thing is there are going to be so many Australians in your yoga teacher training, so you'll probably have places to stay with all people that you meet there as well. So
exactly. Cool. I'm trying hard not to kind of plan every step of my Australian journey, just because I want it to kind of unfold as I meet people and when they tell me where to go. And I don't want to be kind of like totally like a headless chicken, like lost, but I'm trying hard not to kind of like set it in stone what I'm planning to do and what jobs I want to do, which is hard for some people. Where they're like, so you're gonna go to Australia? What are you gonna do? I'm like, oh wow.
You're like, I don't know. Follow my heart. Oh god.
It's like, oh okay.
No, it's gonna be amazing.
Yeah.
We'll have fun and
thank you so much.
Beautiful day and enjoy your sister's graduation. And I'll see you soon anyway.
Yeah, have a great day. It's lovely seeing you.
See you, babe.
Take care.
You too.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.